all right. Okay. Oh, so welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. Okay. What am I doing? I'm up in our meeting hall. Hey, Aid, how are you? And everyone else who's coming. I'm doing a video today called The Brutal Truth. And I want you to know right off the bat, I'm not talking about like an earth-shaking brutal truth. What I'm talking about today is I haven't done any videos for a couple of days. Hey, good to see y'all, Scotty John and Becca Repurposed and John Ray. Afternoon. John, I was pruning vines today, grapevines, and getting white gravel to put around the base of the plant, and I put up a support for this grapevine, and it's a couple of years old. It's one of the wild ones that I've pruned and taken care of, and its stem is now as big as my forearm. It's really cool. I took a picture of it and then I didn't post it yet. I need to add it to my video, but anyway, shalom all, prepper in progress, Dana and someone ghost. Okay, so here I am. This is the piano. It's been in other videos. I guess I probably don't need to show that because I don't know, copywriting or whatever, but we had a guy come out, and I haven't posted the video. I had him on film, and I guess I should post that video, but he just had bad news for us. He had bad news for us. This piano is 128 years old. It's from 1896. It still plays. It's got two keys missing, a white key. Hey, Biddy Boo, long time no see. And one black key missing, which to me is not a horrible thing. And here, let me just show you real quick. I think I did it in a previous video too, but inside, here's the serial number right here. And then here is the company name. And also right here is the company name right there. Woo! Sorry. And so I looked them up, and this company, McPhail, made pianos. Like, company formed in 1837, and they made pianos for a long time. And I did find out that they're good quality pianos, and that's no news to me. I mean, when you look at this piano, you can tell it's good quality. That's probably either mahogany or walnut or possibly rosewood. This wood right here, and it had an embellishment of some kind. Right here, a pattern. We're not exactly sure what it was. And they were sort of top of the line. And the guy, McPhail, who started the company, actually did a lot of research into using, hey, there's Charlie Ski. Shalom, shout out to Charlie Ski as a channel supporter, joiner. Anyway, the pianos were high quality, and the guy did a lot of research, and he used different wood and different technique and different designs to get a really good quality piano. And apparently in the piano world, these were a dime a dozen. I read an article that said there were millions of upright pianos made around 1900. It was kind of like the television of their day, where any middle-class family with a little money who had kids would buy one and have their kids do piano lessons. And before that, pretty much they were all grand pianos. Hey, David Campbell. So he basically told me this thing is worth nothing. And I didn't buy it to have worth to say, ooh, I want to make this into an investment. I just wanted it to play for the worship, because what I do use right now is just this little Casio organ that's can be plugged in electric or battery operated. And if you've ever been here for service, you know I'm not an accomplished piano player. I play chords. I'm just basic. It's to help people sing and to keep us on time, and that's about it. I'm not I'm not expert. Well, he came in and he did a bunch of stuff on the keys, and he basically said, just throw it out. Just chop it up for firewood. Hey, Swamp Donkey Off Grid. Hey, my mom had one of those, bring back good memories. Well, right, Stephen Wilson, Shalom Brothers and Sisters. It's got a nice deep sound to it. And I know this isn't in tune, but the good thing about this thing is, unlike this keyboard where I have to push the keys very hard to make sound come out of it and hold the key down to make the sound keep coming, with this guy, as soon as you push, it's reverberating. And if I let off, there's still sound coming. And so it would make our worship better, deeper, to just be able to play this instead of that. I bet it had many boogie woogie played on it. Well, not only that, it probably had a lot of very classical stuff. There's, someone obviously was teaching someone how to do it, play this thing, because it's got letters, for the keys on the keys. So somebody was either teaching themselves or they were teaching a child on it. I know for a fact it probably had ragtime played on it, possibly jazz, because ragtime came right after, this thing was created. And he said it was from 1896. So it's a very historic time in our country. The Chicago World Fair, quote unquote, I think had been in 1894. I've talked about it in other videos where America hosted it for the first time ever because the Eiffel Tower had just been put up in France. And the French were kind of, we're superior to everybody. We have engineers who can make this huge tower. And the Americans were like, well, we're not dummies over here. Everyone thinks we're rubes. And they had a fair. And at that fair is when the first music, the bass of ragtime, was introduced. And so it caught on from there. And so there was probably ragtime played on this. Oh, thank you very much, Mama Hen's Roost and Dusty. Yeah, great comments. So the brutal truth about this whole thing is he said this is worthless and I should just take an axe to it, chop it up, burn it. These keys are real ivory. Again, I'll show it to you because that's what they were using in the day. They're real ivory. And of course, I would never think of, I need to find some source for ivory nowadays because, all the animals, the elephants and everything, walruses where ivory came from or endangered species and everything. And then the tuner told me like, oh yeah, I have a bunch of those at home, a bunch of keys. And I thought, well, then why didn't you offer to sell me one? I only need one. But his point was a lot of people have done that. They've just stripped the keys out and I don't know if there was anything more valuable on it. And they keep little bits and pieces of them and they basically just trash them. And so he said he's not even going to tune it. I don't want to quote him. He was being honest. See, I wanted to dislike him, but he was being honest and he knew what he was talking about. So I was like, all right, I got to accept that real truth. Because they're a dime a dozen, because you can get a much better quality piano these days that's easier to deal with and so on and so forth. He said he's not even going to bother to tune it. He said it wouldn't be worth his time and money to try to tune it. And so I accepted that. I didn't try to argue with him. I said, all right, gave him gas money, sent him on his way. Now, the good side of the brutal truth about this piano is I just want it tuned so I can play it. I don't want to restore it. I could restore it. It's like $8,000 to $16,000 to restore this thing, but I don't care about how it looks. I mean, I like how it looks. And having said that, there's a few people in the congregation who have some woodworking skills and some art skills, and they're going to try to recreate the appliques and us to put them back on there. And another brother had already brought in some mineral oil and kind of wiped it down a bit. We will clean it up a little bit, but I just want it tuned. And the good news is we have like 10 more people we can call in our area. Hey, Soapy Acres Homestead, shalom. If they're a dime a dozen, you might be able to piece it together. He just didn't want to do, excuse me. Sorry, I'm not trying to, let me go back to your comment if I can find it. Why didn't he offer the option of restringing, rekeying, and replacing some of the innards? Lynn, I don't think that's what he does. He just wanted to tune it. And inside, like everything is still intact. There's like 3 of the hammers missing. They're not in great shape though. They're 128 years old. And his reasoning he didn't want to tune it was the big tin plate in the back where the little pegs are in. I guess I could show you. I mean, if you guys care, the right. Let me get my finger in the right spot. Right here where these pegs are is a metal plate behind it, and he said that thing's going to be shot after 128 years. It's not going to be, I don't know, the right shape or something. And so if he did try to tune it, it wouldn't hold, it wouldn't stay tuned. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's dusty back in here. And like I said, the strings or the hammers are, not in great shape after 100 years of people banging on it and whatever. But I'm with you all. I'm not about to just go, no, I'm going to call all the other piano tuners in the area. Shalom, little house on the mountain, a fellow history lover. Shalom, Mosby men, Ozarks. Shalom, hope to see you soon. I refinished a few pianos and pump organs. They sure look pretty after they're done. Yeah, I mean, I could pay thousands of dollars and get the whole thing restored, but I just want it to play for the congregation. My mom had hers tuned, but I keep touching your names, and then this thing wants to allow me to like banish you and whatever, and I don't want to do that. Tune, but it was so old and out of tune that it just went back to being out of tune quickly. She had it retuned 2 or 3 times, and it kept returning to out of tune. Well, right, and I think that was one of the things his point was. The other thing was, I don't care, like I'll pay to have someone keep coming back to retune it. But I think his point was it won't hold tune. It'll revert back because the back side of it and everything is distorted and whatever. So I'm willing also to pay to have like some of the hammers redone. We are going to try to clean the interior. We'll probably use like a shop vac or something to just get some dust off of it. But yeah, I was just so let down by him saying they're a dime a dozen, they're worth nothing, just tear it up, that I didn't post his video yet, and I didn't feel like talking about it because it was just sort of a step back. What I wanted him to do is be super excited and go, I know it's really old, but let me see what I can do with it. And he didn't. So that's who I'm going to be looking for, and that's the thing about that piano. All the labor to replace everything is buckets of money. Right, my player piano had that problem, and the player mechanism needed work too. They are a lot of fun though. Right, they're a lot of fun, and like I said, this noise, this sound, let me do them both. See if I can turn this guy on. Okay, so for me to have that sound, I have to hold the key down over here. I don't know if you guys care, but okay. But to do it on this guy, if I just push it, it still, you can hear it still reverberates a bit. There's it's maybe not as clear, but I think the music would sound better. Just us singing along with it. Plus you have the pedals where you can make that sound carry too, and you don't have to keep your finger there. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue on. I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to call the other tuners and find the one who's like, oh yeah, we can replace some of that stuff. We can whittle a chopstick and stick it in there and put, like a sponge on the end, and that'll work good enough. That's the guy I'm looking for. Hello, all. I wonder if it's unplayable, if it can be repurposed as a desk cabinet. Well, that's one of the things he said. He said, like, burn it, throw it away, give it away. You could turn it into a desk. I would absolutely turn this into a desk or cabinet if I absolutely could not play it. But what gives me hope is that it's not like it won't play at all. Like right? It still plays, and like I said, if it's only got 1 key and 2 keys missing, so I think we can work it. Use a feather duster, please don't use a shop vac. Okay, fine. Matrix Jedi, good afternoon, it's Kay from Michigan, Upper Peninsula. It's just fun to have and enjoy. Old pianos are beautiful, and I always wanted to learn how to play. They're absolutely gorgeous pieces of furniture. To buy a piece of furniture that would have a mahogany or possibly rosewood exterior of this size, $1,000 easily. So yeah, anyway, after my mom died, they threw out her piano. To this day, I wish they'd never done that, right? That might be true. The strings will keep it tension. It puts on the material that holds the strings will lose its strength. Even metal will fatigue and not stay in tune. Sure, and I understand that. And if we had to have it restrung, I'd be willing to pay for that too, David. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't care to have the whole thing fully restored. I don't want to spend that much money, but I'm willing to spend some money to do things like replace stuff and tweak stuff and clean stuff. Hey, T from Ireland, hello. That may be true. The strings are cute. Right. Just joining in, been working hard in the garden all day. Guinea Hill Homestead. Okay, so I'm done talking about the piano. This live stream's not supposed to be super long, and I think we've covered the basics. So I'm going to go on to my second brutal truth, and another reason why I haven't posted any videos in the last couple of days, and it has to do with the goat birthing. And so that happened Friday, right as Shabbat was coming in. Like the sun is going down, and my favorite goat is definitely showing signs. You might be able to get a used one that works for the same price of a restoration. Stephen, that's what he said. He said for way, way less money, I could probably get a more modern piano that would not need any work at all and would play beautifully for me. And I understand that, and it's a possibility, but I really, really want to see if I can make this one work, at least a little. Anyway, back to the goats. So if you guys are interested in goat birthing and all that, I'm actually maybe going to go over to a whiteboard we have over here, if I can get a magic marker for it. I think we've got a magic marker for it. Hopefully it works. The goat had signs that she was going to give birth. It's also raining out. If you hear noise in the background, it's starting to rain really hard. Okay, so let me see if I can place this. Yep. That go there? No, that won't. Maybe it'll go over here. This is the part of the video I didn't actually sort out, which I probably should have sorted out it a little bit before I got online here. Okay. Takes a special. You're doing well. Enjoy restoring that piano. Thanks, Marcus. Okay, so the goat, when they're about to give birth, has a string of mucus coming out of their lady bits. And my goat did. And so, draw a little picture on here and stuff. For people who are homesteading, and if you have goats or sheep, it's the same kind of thing. I'm not so familiar with cattle and horses birthing as I am with goat birthing. Anyway, go get the whiteboard. That part of the building just doesn't have really good reception. All right. So painful. So painful. For some people. I can't. Okay. I'm just gonna have to look out. Look out. Look out. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Okay, whiteboard's too big for me to get, so I'll do the things maybe right back here. Or draw them on my lap and put them up there. Anyway, the baby was dead. And so with the head coming out first, in birthing these little animals, that means the legs could be stuck down in her pelvis, and that's not good. That's why it's not considered a normal birthing. And so what I did was, I had gloves and I wore them. What I did was pushed the head of the baby who was already dead up near the top of the goat's vulva. Instead of it being down near the bottom, I just moved it up with my hands, gently holding it. And then when the mama pushed, she was able to push the baby out. And so we were very sad about that. And the mom licked it. She was trying to revive it a bit. She was nudging it, but I think in the long run, and I put this on my community post, that its umbilical cord had been torn in utero because its umbilical cord was already sheared off when it was born. And so we, my daughter and I talked about that, and we were, praising the mama goat and urging her to lick the first one, which was alive and still sitting there. And then she went into labor again. And so she started to birth a third baby goat. And so we were looking, and again, we saw the nose coming with no front feet. So she's birthing another one head first. And when there's triplets, these goats are really small. They're not the big full-size dairy goats. They're the pygmy goats. So they get crowded in there if there's 3 of them. And the one problem birthing that we had, the first baby was too big. It was double the size of the other 2. And she had a really hard time birthing it. And it was also dead when she gave birth to it. And this is like 2 birth cycles ago and a different nanny. But the size of it really made an impression on me. And I know that I had been feeding that goat a lot of grain before the birthing, thinking, she's going to need energy. So I'm going to give her all this high sweets and whatever, sweet feed and stuff, goat food. And I decided right then and there, I was not going to do that with these nannies anymore. I was not going to give them a lot of grain near the end because I think that baby was too big because she got all that extra food. Anyway, back to this one. So I did the exact same thing as she birthed this one. I touched the nose and it was alive and the tongue was pink. And so I went ahead and burst the membrane around its face, and I was cleaning its face with a paper towel as it was hanging out. And then with this one, I had the gloves on. And so with it alive, I pushed its head up to the top of the vulva to give room for those feet to be able to come out. And when she pushed, I sort of pulled, but not very hard, got the head sort of out, baby started breathing and stuff. And because I was still holding the head up, she pushed the whole baby out with like 3 pushes. So that was good. We had 2 live baby goats, and that's when I posted that thing on the community section. Are you guys commenting at all? Oh, Stephen Wilson, thank you. Northern Ozark. Looks like lots of lag. My internet has been bad. Very choppy. He's just you said bad rabbit. Hey, there's a shout out. Roll's daughter, bad buffering. Don't think she knows when you missed everything was saying. Whatever happened, I hope all the baby goats and moms. That is some hard rain. Shalom from Northern Ohio. Wow, I've missed a lot. There's Lone Star Living. Yep, comments, tinfoil. How is the mama doing? Sorry for your loss. I pray that y'all bless us do double goats next time. Thank you, David Campbell. Yeah, I'm sorry. It did buffer. I was over there trying to draw y'all pictures on the whiteboard, and it was just not having good reception at all. So I moved back here in front of the piano. I get better reception. I should not be buffering for y'all now. Can you hear me now? Common to lose a triplet. Yeah. Can you guys hear me now? Can you answer me? Is everything okay? I don't have to draw any more pictures either, because did you hear about the dead one and all? There, it's great, yes. Walrus ivory is still illegal. Matt Habir, right, and I wouldn't want to do that anyway. I would want to use it. Okay, it's 5 by 5. Okay, so I will answer your questions. So we had 2 live babies out of 3. It was Shabbat evening, so I was tired. I didn't want to hang out there. The mama was experienced. She'd had kids a couple of times, and the enclosure that she's in is her favorite place, and that's why she was up there. She loves to give birth in this foundation. Unfortunately, in the middle of it, there's a little pond. It's it's very small. It's probably 4 foot round and about 1.5 feet deep, and they do drink out of it. And the times before when she's kidded there, the kids have not messed with that. It hasn't been a problem, except for one kid who was brain damaged anyway. He drowned in it. So I went to bed. I was like, okay, she's got this. She's licking both of them. She's talking to both of them. everything good. And when I woke up Shabbat morning, one of them had drowned in that pond. So now we're down to 1 out of 3. And that's kind of another bad news. And I wasn't very motivated to share that because you all don't come on the internet to just get bad news and be brought down. Most people, me included, come on the internet to be entertained or to learn something or whatever. And it was also hard for me to get motivated to share that information. But that is what happened, and it's the brutal truth about that particular birthing with that goat. Sounds like you're up here. Yeah, it's pretty loud. It's because it's a metal roof. Hope you're doing okay through all this as well. I'm hanging in there. I'm not a real sentimental person. I've had goats almost 20 years, and so I understand, like, your kidding season could be perfect. Last year's was perfect. All 4 kids born to these 2 nannies who are birthing right now lived. But you're right, Bad Rabbit. It is a hard thing. It's a hard thing, especially for new homesteaders. Like if this happened my first year, I might be like, oh gosh, I'm terrible at this. I don't want to do this anymore. I've had enough experience that it sidetracked me a little, but then I'm like, but we've got another mom we're waiting on and possibly another nanny, and we've got to, it's right now is the time to do everything on your homestead. Prune all your trees, manure, fertilize all your trees, lay your garden out, get your potatoes in the ground, plant your cold weather crops, make your greenhouse run. And there's just so much I've got to do. I can't be upset for long, right? If anyone has any questions about any of that too. Didn't know that about goat birthing, so I learned. Good. We had our first experiences last spring with a calf. Mama had trouble and one hoof went pretending. It took a lot of work. Thank ya, baby bull, we're fine. Right. Like I said, I don't know about cows. Let me put it another way. I know it here. I have not had a cow and have not helped a cow birth. I know that if both feet don't come out, a lot of times the vet will reach all the way into the uterus, grab that other foot, maybe tie string to it and pull it up so it matches, so then the whole animal can come out. And cows are so much bigger and heavier. I'm probably too old to even be strong enough to do something like that, and that's why I really like goats. And now we've got the smaller goats because, again, I'm older. With the dairy goats, I had helped also, and most of the dairy goats just birthed their babies fine. It was very, very seldom I had to help anybody. Just got back from Lowe's getting lumber to build a more durable greenhouse for this year. Aaron G., I'm already in my mind planning what I'm doing to that greenhouse to make it more durable, but also less hot. And I know that sounds dumb, but because, man, we had that cold spell, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get this up so we can have plants in it. And then on a 60-degree day, it'll be too hot in that greenhouse. So I already bought 2 rolls of screen. I just have to figure out how I'm going to put them in on it. Am I attaching it on the outside? Am I attaching it on the inside to be able to let air go in there and let that heat out? So if I put it on the top, I have to think then I need a cover for it on days I don't want the screen. If it's a colder day, then I want the plastic back in place, and I guess I could just roll the plastic back and have it at the top. Anyway, yeah. That's what the farmer had to do. It took him and my daughter to pull him out with chains, right? I mean, Grace, I'm just not there anymore. Sentimentality is something I really need to get better at. Involving animals in birth. You're a strong woman and better than me, Sister Kate. Praise. Yeah, Mama, and last baby. Okay, yeah, she's good. Yeah, and she's my favorite goat. So I really wanted this to be okay for her. Her first one was a stillborn, and she was really upset by it. In an animal way. She's not a human, but she was definitely trying to revive her first one and couldn't, and was, vocalizing and all that other stuff. My job during calving was to reach in and grab legs to make sure, to make sure they were in place if the cow was having problems. Since I had the smaller arms, that was my job. I believe it. And the one goat that I actually did go all the way into uterus was an older nanny who had a lot of trouble kidding because she really probably was too old and we probably shouldn't have let her get bred up. So she ran out of energy, and I reached in and with each contraction gently pulled kids out, and she delivered 3 little males. And I'm trying to think, we named them like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I think. But she was down after that. She was really, really tired. And so I gave her things like molasses to lick and fresh lettuce to eat and carrots and everything. And she finally recovered from it. But that was so much different than a cow and a calf, because the baby goats are this big and the nanny goat's the size of a large dog. And so it's a totally different physics. And Bitty Boo, you're a big, strong lady. Big, strong lady. Okay. I've been raising animals all my life. It breaks my heart every time I listen. Guys, I'm going to have to get off. That's my brother. I'm going to say hello to him. And I wasn't intending to have this on anyway. So shalom, y'all.